everybody. Welcome to another Meet Cute Monday. Dahlia, would you like to introduce yourself and your book?
Sure. I am Dahlia Adler. I, of course, forgot to put any of my books in arm's reach right now, but I'm the author of the upcoming Cool for the Summer, out May 11th from Wednesday Books, and the editor of the anthology His Hideous Heart and That Way Madness Lies. Those do not have any sort of anything cute by me. Those are like really vicious, horrible, sad stories. So I think we're going to focus on the fact that I'm the author of Cool for the Summer, which is about a girl named Laura who returns to high school for her senior year and finally lands the attention of the guy she's been crushing on forever, only to find that her heart is still kind of with the girl she unexpectedly hooked up with over the summer, the girl who just walked through the front doors of her school as a transfer student. So it's romantic and fun and messy, and that's how I like them all. And I'm also the overlord of LGBTQ Reads, if anybody knows that site. And yeah, I blog for BuzzFeed. I read a lot of romance, and that's me. Thank you for having me.
I'm like, I think everybody knows LGBTQ Reads. It's like the best site for like any like queer recs ever. Like,
thank you. I hope so. It's been 5 years of working on that. So
yeah, I'm like, I feel like that site is just like a staple of like queer books. Like, if you need a queer book, you know where to find it.
I love that description, but to me, it feels like it's like been around for 5 minutes. So somebody told me it was like so instrumental to them when they started blogging, and I don't think of them as a brand new blogger. And I'm like, what? But, yeah, but I guess it's
That's wild. I think I started in the book community like around that same time. So like the site's just always been there for me. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's so cool. My entire life. Like,
yay. I love that.
Okay, so I'm Emery Lee, author of Meet Cute Diary, a YA rom-com about a trans boy who stages the ultimate fake relationship in order to save his romance blog from an internet troll. And that is out literally next week. We are so close, y'all. We're so close. I'm like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Sorry, I'm not.
Right there. Sweet.
But I love my cover, and I there we go. And I would be so sad if I didn't put it up. Okay. Yes. Okay, I'm done now.
I feel like we both have like these like sweet, cute summary covers, so I love that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we both got very lucky in the cover design department.
We did, and I feel like I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the like summer books this year have all been like super cute, and like there's so many like I feel like happy colors and like cute stuff. And I don't know if like everyone was like, we're so sad after COVID that we have to make everything cute and normal. Like, I don't know.
It definitely could be that.
So a couple reminders. I just want to tell everybody that if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and we will get to them as we go. And also don't forget to enter my pre-order campaign. I'm reminding you all now because it closes. Well, it doesn't close till the day the book comes out, but the stretch rewards close tonight, and we're like 3 receipts away from unlocking the next one. So if you have pre-ordered the book, or if you're planning to pre-order the book, please do so and submit your receipt because tonight is the night. Okay,
I already did it. I did it immediately. Oh my God. As soon as you announced the campaign, I'm like, this stuff is so cute. There was no resistance, was futile, and also, why would I resist?
You're like the most organized person I know. Like, I feel like
I try.
Like, every release date you have, like, you enter the campaigns. I'm like, I literally entered, I think, 2 pre-order campaigns of the like 27 books that I've pre-ordered thus far this year because I keep forgetting to enter.
I'm actually not as on top of the pre-order campaigns as I want to be, but I try to order from the stores where authors are doing like any kind of signings, because I'm just a big fiend for signed books. I have 5 YA hardcover cases in my living room, so like floor to ceiling, massive YA section, and my goal is for every book in there to be signed. And I want to say I'm like 60% there. I mean, it's a lot. It's a big benefit to living in New York and working in the city that I've gone to so many events where I've been able to get books signed by authors from all over the country. I got to work a little more on all over the world, like Rinchu Pecco, Hannah Alcoff. Get over here.
I'm like, that's so iconic.
Yeah, I try to enjoy. Yeah, it's a beautiful collection, not gonna lie. Or be remotely modest about it.
I feel like that was like I feel like I had like the world's like biggest like book collection, and then like I moved across the country, so I had to get rid of most of them.
Yeah,
and,
that'll do it.
Yeah, right. And now I'm like starting over from scratch. So like I have a decent number of books. I mean, considering I moved across the country and had to start from scratch, I probably have a lot of books, but like not as many as I feel like I would want to have, like in like a perfect world. So that's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, when I was moving around often, I definitely wasn't anything like it is, but this is like hopefully my forever home. So I'm like, fill her up.
Oh, like amazing. Oh, that reminds me, everybody who wants to get a signed copy of my book, I'm partnered with 3 different indie bookstores in Southern California. You can find all of them on my website, emeryleebooks.com. Is the Frugal Frigate, the Ripped Bodice, and Book Soup. And they are all lovely, adorable bookstores with like the cutest aesthetics. So check them out, please. Okay, so
I will throw in there that you can also get signed book plate and stickers if you do the Ripped Bodice for Cool for the Summer. So I'm just saying these books come out a week apart. It might be super worth doing 2 pre-order things at once.
Yes.
I'm just throwing that out
definitely.
there.
Yes. And if you pre-order Meet You Diary from the Ripped Bodice, there's also a special sticker that is only going through the Ripped Bodice, so you'll get that as well.
I hope that's where I ordered from. I don't I don't think it is. Oh no. All right. I may have to pre-order a second time. All right. That's cool.
I just love everyone being like, oh my God, wait, how do I get this? I'm like, okay, listen, I made it super complicated, and I don't know why I did it that way. But I also
it's like hard not to.
Like, I feel like now it's just kind of fun to be like, oh yeah, but like if you pre-order from this person, you get this. And if you submit by this, you get that. And like, but yeah, so, and by the way, my pre-order campaign is for library requests as well. So any pre-order or library request, get stuff, but there are certain things that are only for the hardcover, so check before you submit. Okay, let us talk about the books. Yes. So can you tell us about your inspiration behind Cool for the Summer?
Yeah, so I know everybody thinks it was Grease, and I do describe the book as like kind of by YA Grease with better life choices. I make sure to put that second part because I'm not a big fan of the like messiness and change yourselfness that is the original. But it was actually originally inspired by like this, midlist YA book I happened to read where there was a summer love interest and a back to school love interest. And I was like, I feel like I would really like this premise if they were not both boys. And so that was the original premise. And then I'm a big Demi Lovato fan, so I love Cool for the Summer. So at some point there was also trying to figure out what I could do to like make a YA out of that. I don't remember exactly how the two kind of mashed together, but at some point they did. And then, the settings are based on where I live now and where like Outer Banks, where I went on my favorite vacations, and all these things kind of mashed together to make one book. So it takes its inspiration from a few different places, but not always where people think it comes from, which is.
I love one, like the idea of like music as an inspiration, because I feel like I use music a lot too, but everyone's always like, how can you comp to a song? And I'm like, listen. You can, right? Like, I feel like it's like, there's like vibes, there's like messages in the lyrics, there's like so many things you can pull from like music to kind of like weave together like elements of a story.
And some of them are straight up stories. Like,
yeah.
My critique partner and wonderful author and many other things to me, Maggie Hall, texted me and was like, have you heard, the day after Taylor Swift released Folklore, and was like, have you heard Betty? I was like, why? And she was one of the first people to read Cool for the Summer. She's like, I think you need to listen to it. And I'm like, oh my God, it is like Taylor Swift read Cool for the Summer, but she did not. So even though like Cool for the Summer is already comped to a song, Betty is like almost a better comp, which is so weird. But it's just like, if you mash those two songs together, both of which I love, you just like get the book. Honestly, it comps better to those two songs than it does to any books in YA.
I love just being like I'm going to pretend that Taylor Swift actually read Cool for the Summer. Yeah. And she was like, yes, oh yes, that's it. And then I was like,
we don't know that's not what happened. It's not like she would tell me.
So we're just going to say that Betty was actually inspired by Cool for the Summer. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, totally works for me.
I also love that, like, I feel like we both did this whole, like, summer romance thing where it's like, I don't know, like, I feel like there's something, like, powerful about, like, having a short period of time with somebody and then, like, getting, like, really, like, emotionally invested in that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how, like, with Cool for the Summer, where it's like this whole thing where it's like, oh, well, you know, moving on, that's in the past. I had to, like, get over it. And then it's like,
nope.
like,
Or
oh,
do
yeah. I love that. And I love, of course, that it's, like, queer because, like, it's always great to be like, oh, look, this thing that you may have seen before, but what if we made it queer? And then suddenly it's
yes. That's like my favorite. Honestly, that's one of my favorite book inspiration points. Like this, but make it queer will become a totally different book.
yeah,
So, you know, it like never feels like a retread. So,
yeah, like I feel
yeah.
like for me, I heavily pulled a lot of inspo from To All the Boys when I was writing Me Cute Diary,
Mm.
and but like I was at the heart of it, I was like, I want it to be trans, and so like of course like it ends up being an entirely different
totally
thing.
its own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. But like you can see that inspiration in it, but then you also see how it's entirely its own thing. And that's awesome. And that's like a really wonderful thing about taking this thing that feels like it's really well trod in YA. And then, you know, you just marginalized leads will change the story so much. Yeah, it's something I also see with doing the anthologies. So it's like I've really gotten to see like a zillion examples of it and I really love it. And I want all of them. Like, bring this all to me. I'm so into it.
it's like
I'm
publishing.
so here
Take
for it.
note,
Yeah.
like
Yes, please. Please.
like
Whatever.
learn from us. We're giving you so much to work on.
Yes. God, yes. We're
Okay,
trying. Yeah.
So with Cool for the Summer, we have this whole second chance romance thing going on. And so I want to know, what tropes did you know you wanted to explore going into the book, and were there any that kind of snuck up on you?
Number one was love triangle, the most hated trope in all of YA romance, and I don't care. I love it in this book. It was always going to be big in this book. I've seen people say, tagging me, not that I go looking at my reviews, that it's the only like love triangle they liked in YA. And I know that feeling when you're like, you know, obviously there's plenty of love triangles I've read in YA that I do feel like this is not real. You can tell who the main character is going to choose, whatever. Actually, speaking of Maggie Hall, who I mentioned before, so my favorite love triangle in YA is in her trilogy, The Conspiracy of Us. Because I don't want to spoil, but the first book came out in 2015, like at some point. But it's the evolution of the main character that draws, you know, which love interest is right for her at which time. And it's not that there's an obvious right choice and an obvious wrong choice. It's that who she becomes changes who the right choice is for her as she goes through her journey. And I love that. And I feel like that's also inspiration for how I did the love triangle in Cool for the Summer. Like it tries to have to do with who Laura is when she has feelings for these different people. So whatever, I feel good about the love triangle. Haters to the left. That was the right. I'm sorry. It's really hard watching yourself on a screen. So that's the big one. It's not enemies to lovers. It's not, but there are a lot of complex feelings between Jasmine and Laura when Jasmine shows up at school, and neither one of them is really willing to just like open up and give. And like they were best friends over the summer, and you know that's how they got together. So I guess it was friends to lovers in a way. That I would say snuck up on me a little more, that they were gonna find real like friendship in each other and then it was gonna turn into something else. That was like not, you know, intentional exactly on their part, and they just kind of fell into it. So it was more intentional to have them clashing when they meet again. But yeah, it's not all the way enemies to lovers, but there's definitely some like clashing because I love the sparks of enemies to lovers. I love the confrontation, the sparks, all of that. There's so much emotion in that.
I'm like, I feel like when they reunite, it has like this like hate to love energy, but it's not like hate, but like has like that same like tension.
Yeah, they're mad, but they're like they're mad at themselves, they're mad at each other, they're mad at their inability to communicate, they're mad at a lot of things, but like yeah, the strong feelings for each other are just there's so much that they struggle to figure out, to like understand about themselves and their relationship. So Messy all around. My fave.
I love what you said too about love triangles, because I feel like they get a bad rap, and I think it's because there are so many that are really bad. But like,
I will
I
not
mean,
name any. But
yeah,
yeah,
like
some
I'm
are
not
great.
gonna name and
Yeah.
shame, but I think people already. I think the second I say like bad love triangles, people already think of like three that are like really old
Yeah.
that we all know are like really bad. So like,
But
you
there
know,
are so
so
many good ones. There are, and
yeah,
especially
yeah,
in
there are good
YA.
ones.
Yeah.
I feel like there were. I mean, I feel like so like love triangles are not like one of my top tropes, but I feel like there are some really good ones, and I feel like when they're done well, they can be really interesting, and I feel like they really
Yeah.
expose a lot about your character and like the dichotomy like of like the different elements of your character, like you were saying, like with where like the characters like growth can like determine like who's the best like
Yeah.
person for them. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
yeah,
They
like I
can
feel like
reflect a lot about the main character in a way
it
that I
does,
like.
yeah. And like it immediately, I don't know why. I mean, everything makes me think of anime, but it immediately made me think of the anime Given, because there's like this like love triangle in it, and like, God, I'm not gonna spoil that. But if anyone knows what that anime is, and you haven't like seen the movie that got like released on like Crunchyroll recently, you should go watch that because shit's so good. But like, yeah, I feel like when there's like a love triangle where like where like both love interests are actually really good for that person, but like for different
Yeah.
reasons at different times, like that kind of stuff. It's like, oh.
Yes. Thank you. You get it. Thank you.
Listen, I'm a firm believer that no trope. Okay, I'm not gonna say no trope because then someone's gonna like hit me with like some weird like incest or something.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like next to no trope is inherently bad. It's
Right. It's all about how it's handled.
exactly, and I feel like part of the problem is that like sometimes there will be like a rise of a certain trope, and so like all these people will rush to like try to write that trope just because it's popular, but they don't actually know what makes the trope good, and so now you have all these like bad takes on like a good trope.
Right. Right. A trope is not just the name of the trope, like being the premise of the book. There's stuff there. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like my favorite trope is enemies to lovers, and I feel like there are a lot of people who despise that trope because there are people who just kind of do it really badly.
Yeah, you can't make one of them just like a jerk who suddenly turns around and like falls in love. Like, I have to like them both the whole time. That's how, like, otherwise I don't want them getting together.
Yeah, like, and like I feel like you'll sometimes get too like where it'll be like, oh, we're enemies for like reasons that are just like so horrible, like this other person doesn't think that I deserve basic human rights, or like
Yeah.
things where it's like, and you're like, how am I supposed to look past that now that they're supposed to like get together? Or like people who will do like enemies to lovers, and it's literally like they were enemies, the next minute they're just like making out, and you're like, where's the middle?
Right. Right.
Like,
Enemies to lovers.
yeah, like there's a 2 in the middle, which symbolizes the like transitionary period.
Right.
Hey,
Right. That's supposed to carry.
Not enemies who are like kissing. That's not what enemies to lovers. But yeah, so I feel like tropes get. I feel like some tropes get like a really bad rap. Like I feel like there's like a lot that I feel like people are like, oh yeah, that one's fine. Like the meet cute. Like everyone loves the meet cute. But then like you get to like
the meet cute.
Yeah, right. But then you get to like I feel like even like fake dating sometimes gets like a bad rap, and people are like, oh well, like they're just like forcing the relationship. And you're like, it's not forcing the relationship. The whole point is you have to like, build. Yeah,
Right. Are you making it work? Aren't you? Yeah.
Right. And I feel like another one, like second chance romance. Like I love a good second chance romance. Like I love, and I feel like people have that whole like like that like Taylor Swift, we're never ever getting back together kind of like energy towards it. They're like, oh my god, like they broke up. Like why do they need to get back together? And it's like, well, not everyone who breaks up should get back together, but when you know that it's like the wrong time, or like
yeah,
in the way, like,
and it's YA. The wrong time is a very real thing.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I just read It Goes Like This by Neil Moreland, and it did that so well. Like, such good second chance romance. Like, it was exactly what it's supposed to be. Like, here's the reason that we broke up. And by the way, it was only one-sided. Like, one thought they needed to grow individually, and the other one didn't think so. And that, whatever. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's not even out yet. I am that person who will always talk about books that are out in the future, because 90% of the time that's what I'm reading for blog posts. So I am the absolute most annoying person in that regard.
I have
Sorry in advance.
I was
Mhm.
literally telling my roommate that the other day because we went into Barnes and Noble and we were like walking around, and I was like, every book that I'm thinking of is actually not out yet. Like, why am I
Yeah.
here thinking like? Because I feel like I'm so like used to like I feel like with publishing, you're just always aware of like what's coming out in like a year and a half,
I
and then you're
know.
like, oh,
We're the most annoying people to give book recommendations. I'm in this like book rec Facebook group, and every time I actually give recommendations, people are like, "How have you already read that?" I'm like, "Right." On Twitter, you can do that because like you're talking to other book people who are like, "Oh, okay, I'll go on NetGalley and get it then."
yeah,
And then you forget that like 99.9% of the world cannot just grab the book when you can. And whoops, sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I always feel so bad because people will be like,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah, like I have any like good books to read," and I'll be like, "Oh, like these five," and I'm like, "Wait, are those even out yet?" Oh no,
right.
like next year.
Every single one comes out June 1st this year. Sorry.
Yeah, like oops, my bad. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like, and then I feel like the other half of the time, it's like I'm like overcompensating for the fact that like half my recommendations are like not out yet, and I end up giving like
Yeah.
recommendations that are like 7 years old because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like that one. I'm like, right.
They endure for a reason.
And I feel like it's also bad too, just in
Yeah.
general, because we're so used to like planning for things releasing soon that I feel like our timelines are just like messed up. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like that came out earlier this year. Oh no, wait, that's the beginning of like it comes out like in like 6 months.
Yeah.
My bad. Like
We just have no concept of time in publishing.
we do
So
not. Like
sorry. So sorry.
I'll be like, yeah, it's 2022.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's the saddest with my nephew, who's like such an enthusiastic reader. He's 13. And I'll be like, oh, this writer you love got a book deal. He's like, oh, amazing. Thinking that means like the book is out tomorrow. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. What I'm telling you is that in 2 years, when you probably won't be interested in that author anymore, they will have a new book out.
Yeah, it's so bad. I love people being like,
No.
yeah, like announcing your book deal, and you have to like explain to like your in real life friends, like, yeah, so I got a book deal. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. When can I buy
Yeah.
it? In 18 to 19 months, probably.
Right. But in 12 months is when I will ask you to pre-order it.
Right, right. You're like, yeah, yeah. I think
Authors should have no friends.
I
Let me sit here.
feel like it's like I feel like it's almost like I have to just remember to like not talk to anybody about it until it's like 3 months out. I'm like, oh, so about that thing.
Yeah. I'm terrible
Um,
at the AirPods.
okay,
All
so
technology. Yes. Mhm.
I'm like, so you obviously do a lot of anthology work.
I do.
And so I want to ask you, what is a YA romance anthology idea you would love to work on or that you would just generally love to exist? And also, are there any YA romance anthologies coming out soon that you would like to shout out?
So, I mean, Sandra Mitchell kind of got to do my dream thing with these three all queer, all own voices anthologies. All Out, which is historical, which I'm in, with a story called Molly's Lips that's set at Kurt Cobain's vigil. And then Out Now, which is this great collection of contemporary stories. And Out There, which I guess is coming 2022 and is all like futuristic, but anywhere from like near future to like who knows what sci-fi. So these all queer anthologies, which just sounds amazing. So I would love to do the romance equivalent of that, just like an all queer romance anthology or even an all sapphic romance anthology. Like, I don't care, however narrow, however broad, but like an all queer anthology would be awesome. My like original dream that I always wanted to do was before, Sandra got all those books was a contemporary one and a fantasy one. But now I'm like, okay, well that's clearly already done. But if there was still room for like an all queer romance one, I would definitely want to do that. And as far as romance anthologies go, I am so excited for Fools in Love, which is coming in December, edited by Ashley Herring Blake and Becca Podos. And each story in the anthology is a different romance trope, which I'm just so excited to see how that works out. And it has a really cool lineup. I am not going to try to say it because I'm definitely just going to be totally wrong about who's in it. Like, I am pretty sure Julian Winters and Rebecca Barrow and Amy Spalding are in it off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure, but whatever. I'm not going to make any more wrong guesses. Honestly, even just Becca and Ashley, like, I love their work. So, like, that would be enough for me. But I'm really, really looking forward to that one. And then, I mean, non-romance anthologies, I just want all of them. I love Battle of the Bands, which comes out in September. I'm really excited to read Vampires Never Get Old, which is already out for anybody interested in a vampire anthology, which I definitely am. But romance anthologies, there actually haven't been that many. There was Meet Cute, edited by Jen Armentrout, which came out years ago already. And then Three Sides of a Heart, which actually my favorite story in that one, that's all supposed to be either like polyam stories or love triangle stories, just something that involves, you know, three people in some sort of love mess, or not mess. And in the case of the polyam stories. But my favorite one in there is like this really like a great twist on it by Lamar Giles, that I absolutely will not spoil, but is not a romance, shall we say. I thought he did a great job with that prompt. So yes, as far as romance anthologies go, Fools in Love is the only one that's really on my radar. But anyway, if there are any editors out there who want an all queer romance one, hit me up. You know I can do anthologies. It's like literally one thing where I've proven myself.
I'm like, please do an all queer romance anthology.
Yeah. Pick me, choose me, love me.
Yeah, I'm like, that'd be so cute.
Yeah.
I am in the All Signs Point to Yes anthology, which comes out in 2022. And that one is all about how Venus signs impact like the approach to like love. And my story in that one is adorable. I love it so much. It's like about this, it's about this like super like emo, angsty, like witch kid whose parents own like a magic shop, and like there's this guy who's like the jock at his school, and he basically comes in and is like, you know, I had a really bad breakup with my girlfriend and I need like a cure for heartbreak. And so this kid's like, okay, I guess I have to help you, you know, get over your girlfriend. Oh crap, I think I'm falling for you. So.
That's best. I'm so excited for that collection. Oh my gosh. And Cam and Adrian are my people.
Yes.
I am, yes. I didn't know it was lovey. I know nothing about astrology, like nothing. Like I'm Orthodox Jewish, so astrology is like a little considered to be kind of akin to idol worship in that branch of our religion. So I know I'm an Aquarius. I know that means I'm awesome. And that's like literally all I know about it. So I always tell Cam, like, this is how I'm going to learn about what astrology is.
It's so, yeah.
This is going to be my guide.
I feel like I was really into astrology like in like high school, but I feel like I was more of just like, okay, sun sign. Like I know what my sun sign is. And so like I feel like when Gigi reached out to me and was like, hey, do you want to be in this anthology? Like it's about like your Venus sign. I was like, yes, give me 20 minutes to look up and then I will get back to you. But yeah,
there's a lot of fake it till you make it in anthologies that people don't realize. Because if your first time, a lot of people aren't comfortable switching to short story format for the first time. But you say yes because you want to learn how to do it and you want to be part of the collection, and then you end up falling in love with it. Or maybe that's just my journey, but that's how it went for me.
Like I feel like for me, like I actually started, I mean, I didn't start with short fiction, but I've been writing short fiction for a long time because I went to college for creative writing. So I had to write short fiction in like all my classes. So like I was like, short fiction? I love short fiction. So like the second I was like invited to an anthology, I was like, yes, I want to do it. I was like, I don't even know what this is about. I want to do it. Like figure out what it's about so I can do it. But like it ended up being like very up my alley. So I'm like glad that like somebody actually knew me well enough to be like, hey, do you want to do this? Like, yes. Thank you.
It's so nice when that works out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that was great. But I will say, if anybody is working on any sort of like queer romance anthology or queer anthology in general, or like, you know, queer people of color anthology, keep me in mind because I love that shit.
Just saying, if you wanted to edit that, I will happily walk you through the process of making that happen.
Dahlia, I swear one day you're gonna convince me to do it, but I'm really trying to hold out.
Is it today? Is that the day? Is that the day that we're doing this?
I've been trying so hard to be like, no, be strong. Like you're gonna regret this. You know you're gonna regret this. Don't do it.
You are. You absolutely are. I'm not even gonna pretend that you're not. Anthologies are a beast. But like, if you wanted to edit a queer people of color anthology and you just wanted some guidance in the logistics, I'm just throwing out there that I can do that.
Like,
Yeah. I can't
right?
take on any more. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't do that one, but I can't take on any more anthologies at all in general, because my agent will kill me. So, yes, if anyone else out there is doing a queer romance anthology, feel free, look me up. Although I get to do it a lot. I feel like at this point, I'm like, if I'm not doing it, like, okay, I can pass that along to people who like really want to do it for their first time. Like, all right, that's fair.
Yeah,
You don't have to choose me, but I'm there, is what I'm saying.
I'm like, I'm a new author, so I also feel like the fact that I have one anthology is already probably pretty good, but
That is good.
also still keep me in mind because,
Yeah.
I
I mean, I had 6 books out before I was in an anthology. So.
I feel like it's one of those things with publishing where it's like when you know people, like that's like your only
It
like
does help.
chance. Yeah, so I got
Also,
really
they
lucky.
weren't that big at the time. I think they really blew up with like Jess Spotswood. That's the first one I was in, actually, was the second one, The Radical Element. But Jess Spotswood, A Tyranny of Petticoats, was like the first one I remember being big and feeling like it was sparking kind of a trend. So, and I feel like there's another one that was around the same time that, of course, I'm blanking on now. But like after that, we started seeing them like really regularly. But yeah, no, my brain is done.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know, like maybe it's me, but I feel like people are opening up to them more like as readers. Like I feel like
Yeah.
way back when people were very like, no, I don't want anything that's not like a novel. And now I feel like people are starting to be more like open to like the kind of stuff we'll read. We're like, oh yes, graphic novels are fun, or like anthologies are fun, or like, and I'm just like, yes.
I'm fine. I mean, I was late to graphic novels. No shade to them, nothing. It's just I was like, oh, okay, that's not like my medium of choice. And then I read Mooncakes and I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this. And then I read in like quick succession, or not that quick, but quick enough. I read Mooncakes, the Flamer and the Magic Fish. And I was like, oh my God, these are just like 3 of the best YAs, period. So now it's a whole thing. And in Cool for the Summer, I made Jasmine a fan of graphic novels so that I could shout some out. But it was before I read Flamer and the Magic Fish, so I didn't get to give them shout outs in it. But Mooncakes definitely gets a shout out in there as like a favorite. Also, I couldn't literally make all of their favorite graphic novels queer because I was like, there's only so much plausible deniability you can have in like not knowing when literally every single book on your shelf and on your favorites list is somewhere under the rainbow. So it's a mix, but
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, this book changed my life forever.
Oh,
like I love this book. Like I love it so much. But I mean, I've always been a big, like, I feel like when I was a kid, I didn't actually like to read like prose. And so I would only go, like, I would go to like my school library and I would read like the like Peanuts comics and like stuff like anything.
Good.
Yeah, like I was very like comics, graphic novel type stuff. Like that was fine, but I feel like I was like super anti-prose. And then like in high school, like I started reading like more like YA and stuff. But then I also started reading like manga, and I was like, manga.
Yeah, that I haven't read yet.
It's okay. So it's
I like. I'm dying to read, like In Love with the Villainess or something. Something that just sounds so extremely my jam. I have to like just order it and read it and try it. Yeah.
Like I have this problem now where I read so much more manga than I read like Western graphic novels. So every time I pick up a Western graphic novel, I have to train myself to read it like the right direction.
Oh, that's funny. That's so funny.
It's so bad. Like I'll pick up like a graphic novel, like this doesn't make any sense. Oh wait. Like never mind, ignore me. I'm just it's just any problem.
I feel it. I read Hebrew, which also is right to left. So my son is almost 4. He's learning to read now. So he's also very confused about like which side you like to start books on. So I feel this.
Yeah, it's like the struggle is like it's real.
Yeah.
Okay. How would you describe your romance brand? What kind of romance do you love to read and write?
Somebody, I want to say it was Liz Chukas or Liz Briggs, coined "The path to love isn't always straight" as my tagline. And I really love that.
That's so
so yeah, so I think you know, I do both. I do MF and I do FF. And but in general, just like people figuring themselves out, I'm into. I don't know if I have that brand yet. I want to, kind of. I like the freedom of feeling like, okay, maybe anything is at my disposal. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I can't sum it up better than the path to love isn't always straight. Like it's messy. Um, there's a lot of. Oh, I'm gonna try taking these out.
It's definitely. Oh, that doesn't work. It's definitely messy. There's. I feel like I'm dinged a lot for
a lot of miscommunication in my books, but a lot of times it comes from that there's always some like sort of self-discovery arc for the main character. So it's not so much miscommunication as like the main character does not know how to communicate because they just don't know themselves super well yet. So I think my romances always have like self-discovery somewhere in the romantic story. That's how I think of it. I'm curious how other people would sort of describe what they come to my books for or think is a common thread, other than like that people always seem to hook up in bar bathrooms. That's like a weird trend in my books.
I feel like it's a good brand.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like especially like the YA sphere.
And yeah, under the lights. Sorry, it happens. And then what? I mean, I read for all sorts of different things. I really like I can like really, I just think romance can give you everything. I love when there's self-discovery. I love when there's friend groups. I love when I'm learning, you know, more about cultural backgrounds with which I'm not familiar. Gloria Chow's Rent a Boyfriend was just like phenomenal for that. Not that you asked for recommendations yet, but I always think of that book when it comes to that. I just think you can get anything from romance, and the authors who really work in these other wonderful elements of literature in romance is like my jam. But very narrowly, main characters who have high intellectual IQ and low emotional IQ are my jam. I want you to be so smart at school and so stupid about love, it's painful. Those are my favorite. And like the extrovert girl and the quiet boy is a fave. That kind of thing. Oh man, if you have one of those, that's a biggie. Yeah.
That's a good one. I feel like for me, it's like that meme that's like, it's about the yearning. Like, that's like, brand. Like, I'm just like, I feel like I go about it different ways, like in terms of like what I write, but like, it's always like this character wants something so damn bad. Like, they want so bad. And like, I'm going to make them jump through fucking hoops to get it. Like, it's going to be so hard. I feel like, and I also love like when a character thinks they want something, but that's not what they actually want. And like then they realize what they really want, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Like now I want that. Like
cool for the summer, copyright 2021.
Yeah, right? Like I like it. Me Cute Diaries. Like amazing. Yeah, it's just like very like I love that. Like I love when like you were saying too, like the self discovery of the main character, like that kind of stuff. But I just really love when the main character is wrong. Like when they're like sitting here like so convinced of this thing, like I know everything, like I'm an expert in romance, I know everything about romance, and then like no, you're wrong, you're just so wrong, kid.
Like absolutely not. I will say a very cool thing about Meet Cute Diary is you don't usually get the arc of self-discovery through a love interest. And I love that about Devin. Like, I think that is such a cool facet of Meet Cute Diary. Like, it's not a thing I would have even known to love about romance because it's not something I really remember seeing outside of Like Water and Girl Made of Stars, or maybe the only books where I've seen it where the love interest, you know, starts off the book identifying as, you know, female and then identifies as genderqueer by the end. I don't, you know. But going through pronouns, I mean, I've never seen anything like that with a love interest. So, like, I just think that's the coolest thing about Meet Cute Diary. No, it's one of the coolest things about Meet Cute Diary. I got a request this week on LGBTQ reads that where like Meet Cute Diary was the only book that came to mind. I'm not answering it yet because I feel like there are others, and I always hate giving only one title because I never want people to feel like there's this, huge gap and there's nothing there for you. But like when a new author has the perfect title, there's just like the best feeling because you know that you're telling a reader like someone is entering the sphere who's going to write dream books for you. And I feel like it's the best feeling. Like, anyway, just wanted to mention that.
Chills. I'm like,
yeah. It felt so good. Also, because I'm trying to make it a little closer to May 4th before I mention a book that's not out yet.
Well, apparently, and you didn't hear it from me, but apparently if you were looking for a copy of that book, it's actually pretty easy to find. I just don't have one. But I've heard from so many people that it's in their Barnes and Nobles. And I've also gotten, I've pre-ordered books for, giveaway copies. And I've gotten emails saying that, the pre-orders have shipped and everything is sent out. So everyone's getting their copy before me. Enjoy your copies because I don't know.
Sorry.
But yeah, if you're looking for them, they are there. I was like, that's actually kind of cool, but also, yeah, I'm just but y'all, if y'all could express ship mine, that would be great because I want my own book.
I feel bad because I actually get finished copies before authors a lot because I live in New York. So when they ship from the publishers or the warehouse, I'm close to the first destination they come. So sometimes I don't always post on Instagram because of that, because I feel bad. I want the author to do it first. But sometimes I'm just okay, surely the author has it by now, and they don't. And they're like, oh, that's the first copy I've seen. I'm like, oh, well, your book looks really nice, I promise. They're want me to send you pictures of the back and the spine?
I've had several friends tag me in pictures, in case you hadn't seen the book yet. I'm like, thanks, I haven't. They're like, yeah, here's this. I was like, thanks, guys. Yeah, because I haven't gotten it. I'm like, it's okay, whatever. I saw the cover art and the spine before everybody else, so even if I don't have a copy, I saw it first.
Yeah. That's real.
I forgot, what were we discussing that came up? I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Okay. No, I still hear you.
Oh, we were talking about our romance brand. Right. Yes, our romance
brand.
Yes. And I was, yeah. So somebody said it's time to call Noah a loser. There is this running gag that in every episode of Meet Cute Monday, I have referred to Noah. And you are right. It is time. Noah is a loser, and that's my other brand. I love writing losers, and I love writing two losers who are losers in different ways, who complement each other, somehow finding each other throughout the course of the story and realizing that their type of loser is exactly each other, that they need to be together. Which, to be honest, is one of my favorite ships to read. To check out Cemetery Boys. That's a perfect example of two losers who realize they're the perfect type of loser for each other and find each other.
So good. Okay.
So good. Yeah. I like Cemetery Boys and 1500 Miles from the Sun.
I haven't read that yet.
You haven't read it?
No, I have not.
Oh. Well, be prepared. They're losers too. But in the most adorably lovable way. I adore those losers.
No, I haven't gotten that arc, so whatever I haven't gotten, I haven't read. I'm reading as much as I can of spring books, but honestly, I feel like I'm running out of things to look forward to actually reading in May and June. So I'm so excited I haven't read it yet because I have something I can when it shows up at my door. I mean, I pre-ordered it months ago. When it finally shows up, I can oh, I can read this. And it will be new to me. That's such a novelty to me now, which, oh my God, I know. I sound horrible. I hear myself. Don't worry. But,
Johnny insists that their characters are not losers, but they are wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to trust Emery, I feel like.
Listen, they're quality losers, but they are losers. And that's just, it's just.
I like losers. I'm good with that.
Yeah. I'm sometimes you just need a good quality loser, discovering themselves. How are you going to tell me that Jules isn't a loser? This kid gets drunk and outs himself on Twitter. Shut up, Johnny. Like, wait a minute. Like, you don't
I
get
haven't
to tell
actually
me.
seen any of the comments, so now I'm looking.
I'm just like, what? Like, Jules is like the definition of a loser. Like, and like the stuff that like Jules and Matt like are like messaging each other. No, Jules is a loser. Like, let's not. Okay. Like, don't even the 4 C's. You're gonna tell me that these are not losers? Well, I'm not gonna explain that, but y'all are gonna figure out what the 4 C's mean. Losers. Okay. Anyway, let's go to the next question. Okay, so do you want to shout out some YA romance authors you love, and some books that you think that readers should keep an eye out for? I know we just mentioned like a couple that we're talking about, but
Yes, but it was only a couple. Look how restrained I was. Yes, I am going to shout out Becky Albertalli, who I love. I loved Kate in Waiting, like my favorite of her so far. I'm so excited it's finally out. I loved Late to the Party by Kelly Quinlan, so I'm so excited She Drives Me Crazy is out. I love, speaking of people who are great at friend groups and high intellectual IQ, low emotional IQ, Emma Mills is just like my queen. I mentioned Candace Montgomery on the book cover. Home and Away and By Any Means Necessary are both fantastic. Like, Cam is just so, well, By Any Means Necessary also has the friend group stuff, but like, she's so good at writing. Just, first of all, the voiciest voice ever, like always pulled in page 1. And then there's always just this beautiful blend of really serious things in with the swoony romance. And I just love everything that Cam does. I love Emery Lord, Leah Johnson. I've only read You Should See Me in a Crown, but I'm really excited about Rise to the Sun because I loved You Should See Me in a Crown. My God, there are a lot of good romance authors. I actually wrote it down. Hold on. I was like afraid to forget anyone, so I wrote some people down to make sure. Oh, but I almost covered everyone. Julian Winters.
yes.
And Sanjay Menon. And Austin Sigmund Broca and Emily Wibberley, and Rachel Lynn Solomon, and Erin Hahn, and Melissa Cantor. I'm like, and Jennifer Dugan. Like, I'm not forgetting people, except I only got so much time to write names down. I do want to mention some that I loved that are coming up because it sounds like I could do that and not be a jerk. Okay. I wish I had York next to me. Don't Hate the Player by Alexis Ned. I loved. So one thing that I love in romance, I should have mentioned before, that I look for is confidence porn. So both the main characters in Don't Hate the Player it's out June 1st, I think, are amazing gamers. I'm like, I'm not a gamer, but gamer main characters tend to be so passionate and good at what they do. And it's like a really good way to get a little adventure in a contemporary. And the voice was just amazing. I described Don't Hate the Player as like Eric Smith's Don't Read the Comments told through Candace Montgomery's voice, but with the Puerto Rican main character. The girl is, the boy is white. And I just loved it. So I'm mentioning that one. Let's see what I have here that I love. This is I have a whole queer arc.
Oh my God.
Section behind me. Yeah. So let's shout. I loved Love and Other Natural Disasters by Nisa Sugiura, which comes out June 8th. It's just, there's something about main characters who want to believe in love so badly. Like, I feel like there's so much cynicism in YA. And like this main character, Nozomi, she just wants to believe it's going to happen for her so badly. And I love that earnestness. It's so rare. And it's so not me, but I love seeing it. The Passing Playbook. Adorable. I waited for this one forever. I love sports romance. I especially love queer YA sports romance. This is queer and trans YA sports romance. Love. What else do I have here? Okay. I don't have things next to me. I'm excited for, but haven't read, The Heartbreak Bakery by A.R. Capetta, which has, I believe, YA's first traditionally published agender main character. But I just love A.R. Capetta's work. Echo After Echo is a fantastic kind of eerie, thrillery romance that I loved. And I mentioned It Goes Like This by Mia Moreland, which is not a romance, but has a romance, and is great. And I loved it. That feels like it should be enough, but wasn't enough. Ourselves now. Like, I have a lot going on at any given time. I don't know if I'm angling it right so you can see.
I'm like trying to read the spines, and I'm like, okay.
So there's a lot of stuff happening.
It's a lot of stuff, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff happening here.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I guess most of that's not romance. Okay, so maybe I can chill. You know, some of these things I'm not sure. You know, some books you just never know how romance they're going to be. I think Jay's Gay Agenda is romance that I'm really looking forward to. I'm not sure if it's a romance, so I'm just going to shut up about books that I, don't know about beyond what I've already said, because like drives me batty when books are described as romances and then they don't actually have that happy ending. I'm like, no. You mean romantic contemporary, different thing, set the right expectations. Don't screw the author by setting the wrong expectations.
Yep.
Don't screw readers with the wrong expectations. I have strong feelings.
I feel that. No, I feel that. And I feel like that was a big thing. That's been happening around like my book right now, is I feel like there's been this, people kind of don't know if it's a rom-com or like a contemporary with romance or like a contemporary romance. It's a rom-com. It's a rom-com.
Yes.
Yes, that is accurate. But yeah, I have had a few readers kind of be like, oh, like, does it have a happy ending? I'm like, yes. Yes.
But they've been calling books rom-coms that do not have happy endings for the couple. And I'm like, I guess technically, because you're saying romantic comedy and not comedic romance, it doesn't have to, but it's kind of the implication. And then it's really depressing when it doesn't. For the record, I call Cool for the Summer contemporary romance. Like, if you don't think it's that funny, that's okay. It was not written to be a rom-com.
I feel like publishing does this a lot too. Like, and it's not even just publishing, but it's just like readers and like kind of like once the buzz starts going, like I feel like there's like that whole like line where people don't know the difference between like a contemporary romance and a romantic contemporary. Right. And so like people have a completely different expectation for what it is, and you're like,
and it sounds like it's nitpicking, but it really affects how much people like the book. People,
it does, yeah, it's huge.
A book based on, you know, what they're in the mood for and their headspace and what they're looking for out of it. So when you tell them you're going to get X and it's Y, like they're going to see that as a flaw of the book when it's really, you know, because it made for a poorer reading experience. It's just like, be upfront about what it is, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like it's a huge thing for me because I've been like deceived a few times where I picked up a book being like, yay, like a nice, like a lighthearted contemporary romance. And you're like, trauma, death, like people aren't happy. What is happening? And like, yeah, I feel like it is hard to remember that like what failed you was the marketing. The book itself is fine. It's not the book's fault.
The book is great.
Yeah, the book is great.
I try to be, if I'm asked to blurb something like that, I try to be like as clear as possible. I don't know how much people actually read blurbs, but like, for example, I was asked to blurb something pitched as a rom-com. The book was incredible, but I cried my face off. Like, so in my blurb, I made sure to mention like, you know, swooned and cried or whatever. I'm like, I just want you to know what you're in for. This happens a lot with like these very pitched as super sunny romances where I'm like, no, I cried. Stop it.
Yeah. Like, you're like,
someone made clear you're also going to cry.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, yeah, like books I've mentioned today, but like Cemetery Boys and 1500 Miles from the Sun, beautiful. They are romances. There is a happy ending. They will still make you cry. They'll still break your heart.
In the case of this book, there was not a happy ending either. So
oh my God, no.
I'm doing my best to set expectations without wrecking the marketing. You've given this fantastic book. I want you to give this great marketing to. I just want you sending people in with right expectations. The truth is that people seem to love that book no matter what. So I don't feel as much for it. But like Verona Comics by Jennifer Dugan, who's like one of my favorite romance authors in YA, like people really went in thinking that was a rom-com. That book is not a rom-com. It's not a romance. It is very strongly about mental health. Like, yes, it's also funny, but like that is a book where if you go in with the wrong thing, you are going to be a little devastated.
Oh no.
So I have feelings about the marketing of that one, even while I happen to love, you know, people in that marketing, you know, and publicity team. But I am just like, man, there was a book where it needed to be made clearer. And anyway, I'm really looking forward to Some Girls Do, which I know is like actually a romance, but I always try, like I recommend Verona Comics really highly, but I'm like, know what you're going in for. Oh, another romance I really love that I want to recommend is This Is My Brain in Love by I.W. Gregorio. Speaking of mental health romances, I really, really love that one. I guess it's also a little more mental health than romance, but it's definitely a romance. Okay.
Great. Like another book I'll shout out that doesn't come out for forever is Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School. That comes out in 2022.
You read that? I'm fine. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not jealous.
I read it. I read it in a beta stage.
Yeah. Well, 2022 books. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
All right. In fairness, another one of my favorite romance authors, Anne Marie McLemore. I'm reading their 2022 now. So.
Okay. Yeah. See. Yeah. You don't get. I like they're amazing.
Make friends with really, really talented people, and then you get to read their books early.
And literally, the best thing you can do is just like be friends with like cool people. Be like, awesome. So is that your book?
Yes, it's kind of the best thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
like
literally me like every day being like, hey Johnny, when are you gonna send me X project that you're working on?
And then you'll be the person everyone hates because you got to read it first. Isn't that fun?
Love that for me.
It's my favorite reason to be hated. Favorite.
I'm like, look, if you're gonna hate me, at least hate me for like a fun reason.
Yes.
Like, you know, like
such a good fun reason.
Like I'm here for it. Like, I mean, people are gonna hate me for tons of reasons, but like that's a good one to be hated for. I'm here for that.
Yeah, no, I like that one as far as reasons go.
Okay, I think we are at about time. So would you like to give one final pitch of your book and tell everybody where they can find you online?
Yes. Okay. Oh, this is so sad. I keep holding up ARCs, but I actually have beautiful finished copies. So I'm going to actually show one of those. Sorry. Not to disappear. Okay. I'm back. Okay. My book is Cool for the Summer. These people liked it. These people are cool people. So if they liked it, you might also. Again, if you have ever wanted Betty in Sapphic YA form, or Cool for the Summer by Demi Lovato in bi YA form, or Bisexual Agrees with Better Life Choices sounds good to you, Cool for the Summer may be the book for you. And if you pre-order it, my pre-order campaign is on my site, dahliaadler.com. There's a link right when you get there. If you order through one of 5 awesome indies, you get a signed book plate and this incredibly adorable sheet of stickers that I absolutely love. So if you pre-order from one of those, you get that. Yay, I hope you do. And yes, you can find me dahliaadler.com. And then I am at Miss Dalai Lama, MISSDAHLELAMA on Twitter and Instagram. Don't look for me on TikTok. I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Oh no. It's all good.
Look, I know when I'm too old for something. I do. Just can't do it.
I'm like, I have a TikTok, but I post to it so infrequently because I have to put makeup on to do that. And I'm like, I don't want to put makeup on.
No. I posted to it once because I was like sitting outside and it was a really nice day. And I'm like, I feel like taking a video of just like this experience of being out here with my books right now. And then I posted it and I was like, no, I hate this. I hate that there's like a video of me on there now. But I was like, maybe good to just like have an account if anybody wants to tag me. And then I was like, never want to be tagged. Just, I hope people here like my book. I hope you talk about it, that you like it, and that's it. I'm just gonna stay out of here and stay out of your way.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, when a social media platform doesn't work for you, just don't use it. It's easier that way.
Yes, I like Twitter. Twitter with words and not pictures is that's what I'm doing here. Yeah.
So somebody asked, did I get the scene that we talked about last week because Johnny owed me a scene? And the answer is no. Johnny never sent me that. So because Johnny's like that. Yeah, so I'm the author of Meet Cute Diary. It is a YA rom-com about a trans boy, his romance blog, and the fake relationship that he stages in order to save that blog from an internet troll. You can find me at emeryleebooks.com. That is also where you will find my pre-order campaign, which you guys have 11 hours to submit to if you want to unlock that last. Yeah, no pressure. You have 11 hours to submit to that if you want to unlock another stretch reward. You can also find me on Twitter. I am at Emery Lee Books. Or no, I am at Emery Lee Who. You can find me on Instagram at Emery Lee Books or at Emery Lee Who if you want to find my art account. You can find me on TikTok if you care enough. It's probably not worth your time. I am on there, and I think it's at Emery Lee Who too. I think that's like my universal pretty much handle anywhere. Yes, so thank you all for coming, and don't forget to stop by next week. That will be the last Meet Cute Monday. Because that'll be the day before my book launches. And I will be talking to another romance author who is also debuting with me. So
excited to see.
Right. So please come back next week. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Bye.